Hi, good morning to everyone. In previous class, we discussed about extrusion process. Okay, what is the extrusion and different types of extrusion and defects in extrusion process. Okay, in this session, we will going to discuss about wire drawing and tube drawing. It is one of the method of metal forming process, okay, to by formation of wire and tube from the workpiece is known as wire and tube drawing. Coming to introduction about wire drawing process. Here, to manufacture a long slender members like wire tube materials is drawn through a dry is known as wire drawing. Okay, next, the material is deformed by compression. Okay, here the material is deformed by compression forces here, but the deformation force is supplied by pulling on the deformed end of the wire or rod. But as in case of extrusion process, what we done, we are applying a compressive forces at the end of the workpiece or billet. But in case of wire drawing, we are applying some pulling force, some pulling force at the deformed end. Okay, like that we are applying tensile forces on the workpiece. What happened here? Compressive forces is act on the surface of the workpiece. Due to this compressive forces, the shape and size of the workpiece is going to change, and it will convert it into wire or rod. Okay, next, it is termed as indirect compression, but because we are applying a tensile force on the workpiece. But here what type of force is applied? Nothing but compressive forces, so it is called as indirect compression method. Next, most drawing is done in cold. Okay, wire drawing is an operation to produce wire of various sizes with certain specific tolerances. It is mainly used in gold, okay, for chain, for making the chains. Okay, for that a small billet is converted into a small thin wires. Okay, but it will passing in between the dies of different sizes. Okay, by that we are converting a large diameter of a rod into a thin wire. Okay, small diameter, okay, is known as wire drawing process. Here the process involves reducing the diameter of rods or wires by passing them through a series of wire drawing dies. Here, based on the requirement of the diameter, we have to prepare a dies. We have to pass the wires in between the dies. Okay, by that we are reducing the diameter of the wire. Okay, each successive die having smaller bore diameter than the preceding it. Okay, like that we are going to reducing the diameter. Next, the drawing force must not exceed the strength of the drawn wire. Okay, typically this means that the maximum reduction is nothing but area or not diameter attainable is less than the 50%. Okay, like that we have to apply force. Otherwise, what happened? It will be failure or it will be cut off. Like that, the failure will occur. Okay, for that case, we are not exceeding the strength of the drawn wire. Okay, drawing force is must not exceed the strength of the drawn wire. Okay, if increase the drawing force is greater than the strength of the wire, what happened? The failure of the wire will occur. Next, in practice, reduction is usually limited to 20 to 30%. Okay, 20 to 30% to avoid frequent breakage. Okay, the final wire size is reached as the wire pass through the last die in the series. Okay, like that we have to reduce the diameter of the wire. Next, okay, here in this diagram we are showing reducing the diameter of a wire. It will pass in between the different dies. Okay, observe here diagram, it will move in this direction. It is the different dies, that is first, second die. We are passing the wire into series of dies. What happened here? the diameter of the wire is gradually decreasing. Okay, like that we are decreasing the diameter of the wire, indicates the direction of wire drawing, and wire drawing dies with reducing bore diameter. Observe here the bore diameter of the die is gradually decreasing from left to right to left side. Okay, like this we have to pass the wire in dies. Okay, next, a wire drawing die as shown figure is a tool that consists of highly polished shaped hole through which the wire is drawn to reduce its diameter. Okay, like that we have to finish the internal surface of the die. Next, the choice of the die material, like natural or synthetic single crystal diamond, or polycrystalline diamond, carbide, etc. These are the different materials are used to make the die, because for to withstand the wear occur in between the metal and die. Okay, next, depends on the material of the wire to be drawn, and the operating parameters are observed. It is the die, cross section of the die. Here it is the shape hole. Based on requirement shape, we have to arrange the die. Next, it is the entry of the wire, and it is the exit of the wire. Here the surrounding of the die is made with a cemented tungsten carbide that support annual. It is the annual that is made of polycrystalline diamond. It is supported by cemented tungsten carbide support annuals. Okay, like that we have to prepare the die. Okay, based on requirement of the shape, we have to produce the shape, like that. Observe here how the shape is. Next, when the metal is forced through the die by tensile force applied to the metal at exits of the die is called drawing, while when a compressive force is applied at the entry of the die is called extruding. Okay, suppose if you apply force at the end of the billet or workpiece, what is known as extruding. Suppose we are applying force on the exit of the die by means of tensile force is known as drawing process. Next, coming to defects in wire drawing, that is here mainly bulge formation. Okay, this occurs in front of the die due to low reduction in high die angle. Okay, because of this the bulge formation will occur. Next, internal cracks. Okay, here the tendency of cracking increases with increasing the die angle. Due to this, what happened, the internal cracks will occur. Already in scene diagram, what happened here, the angle of increasing from entrance to exit, it will increase. Due to this, what happened, the cracks will be happen with decreasing reduction pause, and with friction, and with the presence of inclusions in the material. These are the different reasons for formation of internal cracks in the wire drawing process. Next, coming to seams, this appear as longitudinal scratches or folds in the material. Such defects can open up during subsequent forming operations, like by upsetting, heading, thread rolling, or bending of the wire. Okay, due to this, the seams will be happen. Next, coming to surface defect, various types of surface defects can be result due to improper selection of the process parameters and lubrications or materials. Due to these, the surface defects will be happen. Okay, next, coming to applications of wire drawing, it is mainly used for drawing of fine wires for electrical and electronic components, cables, springs, musical instruments, fencing, bailing, wire baskets, and shopping carts, etc. These are the different applications used by using the wire drawing process. Okay, next, coming to tube drawing process. Okay, tube drawing normally makes tubes to size from hollow tube shells. Okay, to produce by using extrusion process. Next, they are then cold drawn to size by successive of the process with interstage annuals as required and supplied either in straight line or coil. Like that we have to reduce the cross section of the tube by passing the dies. Observed, it is the drawing die. In between we have to pass the tube. Due to this action of compressive forces in the die, what happened, that the size will be reduced, or we can reduce the thickness. Okay, like that we have to do the process. Before observe here, it is internal diameter and wall thickness and outer diameter, it will be reduced due to the passing in between the die. Here we use floating plug for maintaining the required internal thickness. Like that, what happened, the tube drawing process will be completed. After the observed here, the finishing outer diameter and internal diameter and wall thickness, all parameters we have to reduce based on the size of the die. Okay, like that we have to carry the tube drawing process. Next, coming to methods of tube drawing. Here common methods are tube sinking, tube drawing with a plug or stationary mandrel. Next, tube drawing with moving mandrel. Okay, these are the different methods we can use in tube drawing. Coming to tube sinking. Okay, it is one of the method in tube drawing process. In this method is generally not preferred because it is not supported. It's provided on the inner surface of the tube. As a result, what happens, the wall thickness slightly increases. Okay, because here we are not using any mandrel inside the die. Okay, it is one of the disadvantage. Observe, it is the die, it is the cut section of the process. It is the die and it is the tube. We are going to decreasing the diameter of the tube by passing the die we can reduce, but here we are not maintain the constant thickness. For that case, it is the main disadvantage. Okay, next, coming to tube drawing with a plug. Okay, it is another method in tube drawing process. In this method, tubes of greater dimensional accuracy are obtained. Okay, whatever the we required dimension, you can maintain and produce by using this method is known as tube drawing with a plug. We are using tube sinking. Before process is tube sinking, we are using one component is known as plug. By using this, we have to get accuracy dimensions are obtained because of proper supported provided with both at inner and outer surface of the tube. Okay, by using this we get very accurate dimensions. Next, the plug used may be of cylindrical or conical shape and is of either fixed or floating type. Okay, next, in a fixed plug, the friction is more as compared to floating plug, because in fixed plug it is touched with the workpiece. Due to this, what happens, the friction will be increased, but in case of floating plug, it will move with the workpiece. Due to this, what happens, the friction will be reduced. Okay, observed here, for the same reduction in area, the drawing load will be less with floating plug than the fixed plug. Okay, for using the floating plug, we can reduce the friction and drawing load we can be reduced. Okay, observe, it is known as fixed plug. It is fixed in between the die. Okay, due to in between we have to pause the workpiece. Like that, we have to maintain the thickness, that is outer diameter and inner diameter. Based on the arrangement of the plug and size of the inner diameter, we have to maintain the thickness of the tube. Okay, like that the process will be carried. Here the plug is fixed. Okay, next, coming to floating type. Here it is a plug, it will move through the material. Due to this, what happened, there is a friction and force required is less. Okay, next, coming to tube drawing with a moving mandrel. Here in this method is similar to that of plug drawing, except the difference that in case of movable mandrel is used. Okay, in previous case we are used plug, but in case we are using mandrel. Because of the moving mandrel, friction is minimized, but the mandrel has been removed by rolling. by rolling, hence there is a slight increase of diameter of the tube. Next, the results in reduction of dimensional tolerances. Okay, observed. It is the mandrel. It is continuously placed in between two moving the workpiece in between the die. Okay, it is continuously the mandrel also move with the material. Okay, like that we have to arrange. Okay, it is about wide drawing and tube drawing process. Okay, thank you.